Okay everyone, how you going? Today, January 2021, all sorts of exciting things happening in America. Today I'm going to try to put the belt or the tyre on the wheel for my bandsaw. Now, the old tyre came off catastrophically. It just was there 1 second and gone the next, and it was the same as this type, so hopefully this one will last longer. I've never done this before, but I do notice that this non-rubber tyre seems a bit small. So I'm going to try a few different things and we'll see how we go. My shirt's a bit dirty, I've been doing some varnishing. So I've got some clamps, different clamps. I've got a modified clamp that I could probably use to stretch that a bit if I need to. A little clamp as well. I've got a kettle. I'm all set to make hot water. And I even thought maybe I could put this in the oven and heat that up so that the wheel is warm and it won't rob the heat out of the polymer. So quick, let's try manually first. Let's just try good old fashioned I don't know, what's the plan? Clamp it. Let's try this clamp. They say heating it up and then clamping it and stuff is the best way to go, so we'll see how we go. I don't really want to risk damaging the tyre. Right, so that's one clamp sorted. I also lose all this stretchability if I just clamp here. I don't know if that clamp's going to be of any use at all. A bit weak maybe. Predictably, it's come undone. Okay, let's see if that one will. It's not going to work real well. There's probably a super intelligent way to do this. It takes about 2 minutes, but I don't know what that is. Alright, let's see if I can't get a bit of stretch going on. That might stay in. Okay. It's like a giant rubber band gun. I hope my students don't see this, they might get ideas. Okay. Not that I'm scared of it, that's that I'm afraid of it. I'm thinking it's stretched a fair bit. Let's see. Ooh. Snap back. Okay. It's gonna naturally go back to its original size pretty fast. Too fast for me. Okay, let's try plan number 3. Let's try to do, I don't know, what happens if I put this let's put the mad into genius. Okay, let's see. apply maybe hook that over there, put that over there. I'm going to really need to kind of put that on the bottom, on the side, on the bottom. Well, that's not helping. I really need another good clamp. Let's see, I made these at a clamp making workshop at the Beld Studios in Townsville. They are pretty good, but I don't know if they'll actually be useful for this task. Let's have a look now. Put that there. Stretch, stretch. I've never really changed many bike tyres either, although my dad's changed plenty. But well, he did change plenty. See, it's probably a technique similar to changing a bike tyre that, if you think about it, probably works really well. Maybe I should take this to a bike shop and give them the job. So the year is 2021, it's just started. Donald Trump's just been impeached, apparently for the second time. So look at that. Ah! COVID's either just getting finished or just getting started. Can't quite work out which. It's been a year nearly since we started worrying about it. That's kind of working. That's kind of halfway. I don't know. There are those that think poor old Donald Trump didn't really mean to incite a riot. There are those that are quite confident that even if he didn't mean to, he's kind of happy it's happened. Can't imagine how anybody would be happy with the consequences of a few deaths. Of civilians, police officer, etc. price you want to pay, so that you can, you know, stay in office, surely. To a man who owns a hammer, every problem is a nail. That's an old proverb or saying. There you go. Right. Anybody have any bets going as to whether that was going to happen? In other news, what? No cyclones so far this year. No raging floods here anyway. Not so good a bit north and south of where we currently are. They're suffering a little bit. And 10 years ago, Brisbane apparently had their big floods, so thank goodness it was 10 years ago. We were watching it, watching some footage about it, and actually thought it was this year and thought, oh my gosh, haven't we had enough? And then we realised it was like a replay. You can see that. Surely, this has got to be the right thing to do, kind of. Yeah. So the children are well, for those of you who are interested in such things. Starting school in a week or two. One starting in prep. And she's quite looking forward to it, I think. And the other one's starting grade 2. And she is a clever class, so I think she's going to have a good year as well. She's reading really well. She's got enough sass for 2 or 3 people, so right. Now watch. That's all I completely stuffed this up. Right. It's looking good. Now, if I put another clamp I've got like 8 of these. Just put a backup on here in case this gives way. This is going to look like some kind of radial echidna by the time I'm finished. Look at it now. Can you see that? It's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm going to stand on this side. Oh, and that clamp immediately fell off. I don't like those sounds. Those creaking sounds make me think something's coming apart. Now, we've just had 2 weeks of rain here, almost non-stop, and the mosquitoes have been having a field day. So, I don't really like walking into the garden and being swarmed by enthusiastic mosquitoes all asking for a blood donation. So prefer not to use pesticides that I have. I've used a product that's meant to kill termites, but in the leaflet it says dilute it down even more. Ooh, this is looking good. Dilute it down a bit more, and see that? This. Look at that, it's nice and stretched. And I'm gonna pop that over there. Dilute it down even more and spray the heck out of everything. That's basically what it says. So I did, and I've hardly seen a mosquito since. Dread to think of the consequences on lucky we had that back up. Dread to think of the consequences on every other insect in the garden. Now this one's got to come back up. And us computer nerds, we've always doing backups. Oh, look at that. That's what I meant it to do. Okay, so I'm sort of doing half and half every time. Half. Half of what's left. Now, I maintain, despite being a chemist by qualification, that physics is our friend. And look at this. Physics in action. Springs and... oh, look, there's the last little bit. I hope you can see that. A little bit more of a couple of squeezes. And I reckon that'll pop over there. People, you have a job. Oh, hang on. Now I can't get it out. Oh. Take that off. And that off. Look how well these clamps worked. And that. And that. Straighten a few things up. Look, I'm sure, even though the tension's probably uneven, I'm sure it'll come good over time. Maybe I can get a thing under there and just maybe, you know, run it around. Here's a giant dowel. I can put it in and run it around. If there's any sort of differences in tension, that might help. Even them out a bit. Oh, look at that. See what I mean? You know, making sense what I'm doing? It's trashing the heck out of my piece of dowel, but dowel's cheap. That must be just about a lap. I don't know if anybody's keeping track. Okay. Make sure that's all in there. Now the fellow I bought this bandsaw off said he put a new tyre on just before I bought it. He said it took him and his mate several hours to work out how to do it. So if anybody wants tips on how to put a tyre on a bandsaw, feel free to contact me. Cheers.